Yeah, surprise, surprise. You can't exactly get someone's full worldview in 8-second clips from a 8-hour stream. So originally this video was going to be talking about the different kind of slop tubers that have been going around lately with the attacks on Hasan and people in his orbit, but I just didn't want to do that. Honestly, I just didn't really want to do that. I was literally like planning ahead of making this video. I was just like, oh, I'm going to say this, and this will carry over into this segment. It was going to be going over the different slop tubers and mostly just then talking about more Pegasus, who has been getting some discussion around him due to the jokes that Hasan has been making about him.
Obviously, he's been very upset about Hasan even mentioning or joking about potentially getting him caned by going through Singaporean legal systems. What are you going to say about this, Pegasus?
It's not a joke, sir. Sir, you are not wearing a suit. I am. What? Look at the suit. What does the suit say? The suit says big business time. I graduated from big business college. And as someone who's wearing a suit, I need people to understand I love international shipping. Oh, I'm a numbers guy. I love international shipping. I love commerce. I love making sure trade continues its free flow. And that is why I am not joking when I say I love the beautiful nation of Singapore, and I love specifically its defamation laws, its anti-racism statutes. I forgot that one. We got to start adding that into the pile. And unfortunately, right now, it feels like Singapore is insufficient in its prosecutions of one of its biggest serial violators. More Pegasus.
Maybe I'll do it some other time. Maybe I'll save that for like next week, and we'll just talk about them there. But for this video, I wanted to take a look at this video that I saw come across my feed a couple days ago called Who Really Watches Hasan Piker by Steven, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, Steven Asarch. Hopefully I said that right. But I have seen this person before. They made like a special appearance in Alex Novell's video about Ethan Klein and his misogynistic attacks against Denims, Frogan, and Caseytron. But I wanted to check out this video. I also believe he had another video where he was talking about, it's essentially a similar video called Who Actually Watches Asmongold, where he interviewed some Asmongold fans. Now, I wanted to watch this one because I haven't seen it yet. I saw like a brief clip, and even then I don't remember it fully. So going into this completely blind, and the reason why I wanted to do this video is because, again, I just didn't want to talk about the slop tubers, but also I don't think that I keep it secret that obviously I prefer Hasan to a lot of other content creators when it comes to the political space. He was definitely my introduction into becoming a leftist and a socialist. He played a very formidable part in that. The way I got introduced to him was through Ethan Klein, because I started watching him back during like I think it was 2020, maybe a little maybe 2021, but it was during the Uvalde shooting where I got introduced to Hasan, because it was just one of those cases where it's like it was a very clear example of what's wrong in this country. And when I saw the video of leftovers pop up on my feed, on my notifications, like, oh, H3 released a new video, I was like, oh, they're talking about this. Well, I like Ethan. I don't know about this Hasan guy, but let's check it out. And because of that, I got introduced to Hasan, and through watching him and other leftist YouTubers like FD Signifier, Some More News, I definitely expanded a lot more on my political understanding, and that's ultimately what led me here today. So I mostly wanted to watch this video just to see like maybe the other experiences of people who also watch Hasan, and if they are different in any sense of the word, or maybe pretty similar, of like, oh, I used to watch this guy and I got introduced to him through that, or maybe even like political views beforehand. Because for the most part, I would say I was pretty, I don't like the term apolitical, I would say moderate in my views, in the sense of like, in terms of like strong political beliefs, there were definitely a lot that were already left, but I was still like a young, dumb, edgy boy. And because of that, I also had a lot of beliefs that were definitely right-wing too. But for the most part, I would say like it just made this weird mush in the middle until I started becoming more politically aware, especially after like George Floyd and the BLM protests. Let's just get right into the video. I feel like I've done enough talking.
Hasan Piker has been called a terrorist,
Now, the new face of the left, I keep doing my best to make this guy the face of the left because, you know, he's a terrorist.
a champagne socialist,
Hilarity surrounding champagne socialist Hasan.
a dog shocker,
Mr. Dog Shocker is wondering.
a hero, and an enemy of democracy. It doesn't matter where you turn. Everybody has their own thoughts on him. On some sides of the internet, he's a hero, a progressive ideologue, and a champion of diversity who helps progressive candidates like Zoran Mamdani, who works right over there, get elected.
To me, I see him as like a good guiding light of progressivism and like trying to get better candidates rather than just your typical establishment Democrats.
But to others, he represents the downfall of America, an anti-Zionist chauvinist who would rather show off rather than help people.
If you spend some time with Hasan, that like, yeah, he has those like edges to him, but he really means what he says.
But who really is Hasan Piker? I've been a digital culture journalist for the past decade, and other than an interview that I did with him a few years ago and some articles over the years, I never really watched his content. I really only understood him through the context of these clips.
You support terrorism, question mark? No, I don't. I don't support the state of Israel, and I don't support the state of the United States of America.
So I decided to reach out to the people who know him the most, his fans, the viewers who spend dozens of hours a week watching him on Twitch talk about politics, culture, and the news. What I learned is Hasan Piker is a complicated individual who can't really be captured in those viral moments and clips.
Yeah,
Hasan,
surprise, surprise. You can't exactly get someone's full worldview in 8-second clips from a 8-hour stream. This was something that I was going to talk about when this originally was supposed to be a SlopTuber video. It's just like, yeah, there is a reasonable problem with Hasan in the terms of like, you know, there's people out there who are going to clip you maliciously, so you need to use your words more carefully, select your words more carefully. But again, like, you're doing this 8 hours a day, almost every single day. Yeah, there's going to be moments where you're going to slip up. And even then, even if you did, there are still going to be moments where people can just trim the context of what you're saying to make it look bad. It doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, you can choose your words more carefully, but at some point, when these people are purely motivated on making sure to capture your worst moments without providing any of the context to what you're actually trying to say, at some point, it's not going to matter what words you're carefully choosing. They're always going to find a way to spin it.
can be a bit brash. His bravado can kind of get in the way of his message.
And boy, can that message be difficult for a moderate or someone that disagrees with Hasan.
But at the end of the
Oh
day,
yeah, I remember from this little clip right here.
Hasan can be a bit brash. His bravado
This clip right here, it was after the progressive candidates won their primaries in New York City, and he was essentially saying that the next time these elections come around, he's going to go after Richie Torres.
Richie Torres! Richie Torres, I know you won tonight. I didn't even look at your race. You probably won, you piece of shit. Remember, I was coming for you, but you got lucky this time. But I'll see you in 2. I'll see you in 2, motherfucker. I know you stopped talking shit. I know you stopped talking about Israel, Richie Torres. What happened?
It's Richie Torres, who is notorious for being a Apex stooge, who spent an ungodly amount of time trying to go after Hasan on Twitter until a lot of public opinion shifted away from Israel, and also the bad reception he got from that Adam Freeland interview, which very much pushed him to not talk about that stuff, like not focus on Israel as much. Hasan was essentially like, we're going after you, we're replacing you too because you're a stooge, you're an establishment dem that would do anything for a paycheck, which is completely true. And people tried to turn this into a racist attack, as if he was not campaigning with Daria Liza in her race, and these same Democrats said nothing about the racist attacks that she went through. Like, they were so desperately trying to turn this into a race thing that no one believed. Nobody believed that it was an actual. The only people who believed it are people who are like literally brainwashed or paid for by the Democratic establishment.
can kind of get in the way of his message.
And boy, can that message be difficult for a moderate or someone that disagrees with Hasan.
But at the end of the day, people tend to love him. So welcome to my channel. This is Steven Asarch Talks.
I trust Steven to not fall for shit like that.
When I released my Asmongold video, which you should totally watch, Hasan watched it and shared his thoughts on the subject.
Which creator's fan should I look into next? Like, I feel like if he did something like this in my community, I suspect that the outcome would be very different. And I know that because journalists have profiled my fans.
So I decided, sure, that would be a great idea to figure out what his fans think about Hasan. I posted a tweet, and Hasan posted that.
You know what's
tweet.
really funny about that Asmongold video too is that there were fans in that video who were literally like, yeah, Asmongold's a bit of an idiot, but I trust him more than a guy who literally has like a political education.
You know, I'm going to use Hassan as an example. He's more like trying to come across like the Pope. Everyone should listen to me. Whereas Asmongold is the wacky homeless guy on the side of the road, you know, holding the mic, holding the Bible and just screaming his interpretation of the Bible.
What? Like even his own fans understand that Asmongold is not a smart guy.
On his stream,
if you speak to his, oh yeah, Steven Asarch, who did the Asmongold video, he saw my response to it. He was on honeymoon. Flex, by the way. He said, while I was on honeymoon, Hasan the Hun reacted to my Asmongold video and theorized that if I spoke to his fans, the outcome would be very different. While I'm working on my reaction, I wanted to reach out to Hasan Piker fans and ask, why do you like Hasan? How many hours a week do you spend watching him? What do you think people misunderstand about him?
So I got a flood of information. So over 300 people responded to me on Twitter, email, Discord, and someone even found my Reddit. From those 300, I interviewed 15.
And some of their stories.
And also another contrast from that Asmongold video, I believe, is that he had a hard time even trying to find Asmongold fans who are willing to talk to him.
So in December of 2025, I put out a tweet saying, if you live in New York City, I would love to talk to you. And I got hundreds of responses, all of which said, absolutely not. Some of them said I was trying to make a trap, that I was going to record them, even though I said it was going to be an off-the-record talk. I just wanted to figure out who they were, and they all hated the idea so much.
Because as soon as they figured out that that's what he was trying to do, he was trying to find a few fans to interview to kind of understand their worldview a bit, they were just like, no, don't talk to him, don't talk to him. Like, I think it's just such a weird contrast. From what I remember of it, a harmless interview. It wasn't antagonistic. It wasn't like, you know, trying to intimidate or whatever. It was a fairly tame interview of just trying to understand these people. And they were still just like, no, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it.
Were fascinating. Adri is a mom who wants to fight back against the defamation Hasan receives, posting live clips taken directly from his live streams.
Oh, I follow her on Twitter. That's cool. I like her.
People are shocked that I'm like a mom and I do what I do. Like on Twitter, like a lot of people are like, how do you do what you do? And it's a lot easier to do what you do when your needs are met here in Canada.
Ben is a former Mormon and H3 fan, so he's escaped 2 cults.
Oh my god, my brother.
The only liberal in his Western mountain.
Okay, not my Mormon brother, but my fallen H3 soldier brother.
Community, and is absolutely willing to push back on his neighbors.
I grew up very Mormon, come from a very Mormon household. I was raised very strict, where I think that also made me want to, you know, go the opposite way. And so when I was supposed to go on a mission, is kind of when I just figured out, like, you know, I don't know if I believe so much in the Mormon church anymore and don't want to go on a mission. And, you know, I became kind of a black sheep, if you will.
Yuval grew up in Israel and served in the IDF, where he listened in on Hezbollah communications. But after spending some time traveling the world and becoming more radically left, he denounced his former country.
I don't think people are bad or good. I think everyone's a little selfish and people can do bad things or good things. I think if you're serving the IDF, you're doing a bad thing. I think if you grow out of it and you look back, when I was a kid, I didn't have the political knowledge and understanding, right? To really view it that way. And I want to be grateful toward myself.
Eric grew up with Rush Limbaugh in his ear and started going down the gamer right-wing rabbit hole, but managed to pull himself out before he was too far gone.
What really hit it for me is I was watching Hasan and then clips of Asmongold at that point. And I started seeing things kind of go on a turn for the worse with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. It just turned into a giant content machine. While I was watching Hasan more and more, and especially caring about that kind of thing and the politics that underlied with Hasan's content, I was like, what is Asmon doing? He's it feels like it felt there was a huge disconnect there, and then it became more and obvious that it was just, in my opinion, a grift.
Anna is an immigration lawyer who is seeing firsthand what ICE and this administration's immigration policy is doing to those seeking refuge.
I'm friends with a lot of the chatters in the community that have been long-term communities. And I had one chatter message me the other day, and he was just like, oh, everything sucks, you know, nobody's doing anything. And, you know, I just had to remind him that we have to have revolutionary optimism. And for myself, to keep my mental sanity, I have to be delusional. I have to think that things are going to get better because...
Yeah, that definitely is something that I resonate with. There's a lot of times, especially with like some of the stuff I've been covering recently, like with the man who was shot by ICE, amongst the many different people who have been shot by ICE recently and have been for the past year and more. It's definitely tough to really feel like things are going to get better when they just kind of either stay the same or just get worse. It's just one of those things where it's like, you see, it's why so many people were hooked up to that hopium when Zoran was elected for mayor of New York. It's why a lot of people were on hopium with the candidates, the New York candidates during their primaries. It's why, you know, people are really rooting for progressives like Abdul Al-Sayed and Chris Rabb.
Especially, you know, immigration, I could tell you story, you know, we could have like 3-hour conversations about how cruel this administration is, right?
And I wanted to make sure I wasn't just getting Hasan's traditional audience.
When he does his census, a lot of them are workers that like have full-time jobs, that like they're an older demographic. A lot of them just watch for news.
Hasan's audience is mainly white, male, millennial, and makes between 50 to 100K. What I found is that the average Hasan viewer either watches him live on his stream.
I try to watch Hasan live, but I work, I stream 8 hours, you know, he does this 8 hours a day. I prefer watching his YouTube.
Or spends their time watching his VODs on YouTube. Some are democratic socialists.
You know, being a democratic socialist, that's what I like to call myself. There aren't a lot of communities where you feel like you really can belong and your opinion, you know, that people share the same opinion as you.
And a lot of them just used Hasan to replace the traditional media coverage they were already watching.
I used to love mainstream media. Like, until I realized how fucked up, like, and how, like, skewed everything was.
Unlike a lot of influencers who tend to spread doomerism when it comes to their content, Hasan is more upbeat, he's more hopeful, and his viewers reflect that.
It's not a thing of, hey, socialism is when no money and no phone or no anything really, no consumerism. If this is the system that we live in, then we have to play the part and slowly hope that we can change it for the better.
But I also wanted weirdos.
And this guy says, if you speak to Hasan fans, you will be speaking to absolute lunatics who will threaten to rape and kill you over a minor difference of opinion. That's the difference between the two audiences. Nobody has threatened me with any of those yet.
I desperately wanted to get people who weren't the most normal human beings. I wanted those that were outlandish. People that could kind of match the energy of my Asmongold people. But I just couldn't find any. I looked through hundreds of messages, and they were all fairly normal people with jobs and hobbies and lives. But mostly, they were just regular folk.
I don't think that we're as toxic as many people may claim we are. Really, we just want...
What, you mean to say that, like, people who just believe that we can create a better system that helps out everyone equally? You mean to tell me people who believe, like, truly in equality in all sense of the form, they're not terrible weirdos? What? That's so confusing. And here's the thing, don't get me wrong. As someone who has been in this community, there are definitely some people who are just, like, fucking annoying, who can be a bit much, but like compare that to like the insufferable incels of like Asmongold or any right-wing grifters community, or like the H3 fans.
Want to give people health care. We also would like health care and ensuring that material needs can be met without breaking people's wallets and making sure that everyone has a roof over their heads.
And I've actually come up with a list of reasons why people like Hasan. First off, he's hot.
Hot. He's hot. He's very hot.
Everyone I interviewed mentioned Hasan was hot and attractive.
Look, as a pansexual, he's just not my type, all right? I think he is a conventionally attractive man. Just not my type.
Hasan is young, attractive.
People always make jokes saying like they will people be drawn in by his looks and then they'll stay for his takes.
He's smart, he's intelligent, he's well-spoken, he's attractive.
So my wife likes him because he's attractive.
They also agreed with a lot of the things he says.
Or he aligns with me in a lot of different things, but he does have a lot of influence and his word does carry a lot of weight with me. And, you know, when it comes to politics, we agree with 99% of everything, you know.
He's also accessible. People can just write chat messages and get directly to him. You can't do that with Rachel Maddow.
I think that's number one is accessibility. You can pop up on a stream. I have his stream up right now, you know. You can type in chat and maybe get a response.
He's also consistently live every single day. It doesn't matter where you are, you can tune in and watch him. And if you don't catch him live, there's still hundreds of hours of VODs that you can do to kind of get what he's saying.
I've always been on Twitch, but never watching political streams. I started watching him and it just became like a daily try to watch him. And then it became I'm gonna watch his VODs at like, twice the speed. I try to watch all of the VODs, especially while I'm working.
So in order
I mostly just watch the YouTube video, so I'll be honest. Either that or I'll just like check out the fan channels that he does that just upload his VODs in like real time. It's in the same vein to what he mentioned earlier. I just use, to me, like, I don't have like a parasocial thing with Hasan. Like, to me, like, yeah, he seems like a cool person, but like, I really just watch his videos just to get a adequate news coverage, like just to get that, because like, yeah, I don't want to watch CNN, I don't want to watch like MSNBC, because I know that these are companies bought and paid for to spread certain propaganda. So yeah, I'm probably gonna trust a guy who is independent, who doesn't like have any incentives to truly like say the thing. Like, I do believe he believes everything that he says. Like, I don't think he's doing it to get like money from a lobby to say certain things. But like, I believe that he does an adequate job at covering the news. It's the same reason why I watch like Majority Report. Like, I just do it purely to get an adequate coverage of the news. But I also just can't watch a stream all the time. So I just often rely on like the fan channels or the videos that he uploads.
To know Hasan, we kind of have to start at the beginning. Hasan was born in 1991 in New Jersey, but went back to Turkey when he was very young to live a more affluent lifestyle with his parents. You've seen the horse picture that my last Asma Gold viewer absolutely loved.
The first thing that really got me hooked with watching more of him is he was born in Jersey, but he grew up in Turkey. I think for me, I'm someone who loves to understand others.
When he was in college, he said that his family started to lose their wealth.
I said I was broke because my parents, my dad, went broke by the time I got to college.
And went back to New Jersey to attend college, where he went to Rutgers and got a degree in political science and communications. While in his last year of college, he managed to get the Nepo Baby boost, sorry Pirate Software, and got a job working at his Uncle Chank's internet political show, The Young Turks.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. People like Ryan Grimm and like The Young Turks. Disgusting how they handle that. Because like Ryan Grimm, he was like questioning the reporting of the story by trying to delve into the details that did not matter at all. And then you literally just had like Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur just being like, this seems like an attack by the establishment Dems. Just completely gross. Like I used to joke about like, Shaky Gurga, Uncle Cenk, stuff like that. Even though I definitely had my big disagreements with his political views, and especially in terms of trans people. But now I don't even feel comfortable making the jokes anymore. I feel like this guy just does not deserve any semblance of credibility anymore.
He sort of floundered around for a bit, coming up with his identity. There are a bunch of clips from that era of him being a super bro that have not aged well in the slightest, and he has mostly denounced.
Those were satire, and that literally was like 10 years ago.
But are still used by people online to paint him as, the alpha bro Chad that they want him to be.
That shit is not even archived.
But you'd think that, if anything, they would love that. Like the people who bring that stuff up, his like bro tips clips, Like, they say similar stuff to that. The only difference is that, like Hasan said, that was like supposed to be satire. They try to use it as a gotcha of being like, oh, you're like this bro Chad. But if he was this bro Chad, wouldn't you love him? Isn't that your whole thing of like loving alpha males and stuff and like traditional masculinity?
And some fucking Nazis found it like a while ago to try and cancel me.
He manages to nail down a format that works for him and starts posting on Facebook under the breakdown.
I was a member of TYT because I didn't watch it live. I would go back and watch the VOD. And Hasan, I mean, he showed up and like as a I guess a presenter sometimes. I didn't like him then. It kind of started clicking whenever the breakdown videos started to come out. That's when I was like, oh, I like what this guy's saying. It's very provocative.
There, he creates the prototype for the content that we all kind of know today. He's brash, he's politically centered, and he's conventionally attractive.
I'm not even gonna say it, just because I feel like it's a bit. He kind of feels like he stole. It kind of looks like he stole Matt Walsh's beard with this. Like, this is like the biggest I've ever seen his fucking beard. It looks way too big for him. It's like if you tried to make a Gen Z Matt Walsh. Why is his beard so big? And he's got the flannel on too? No. The flannel with the... What is this fit, by the way? He's got a completely buttoned up flannel. And he's got like all these chains around him. Two of them are like dragging down here, but then he's got like this big circular one right here. Like, what is this fit?
I'm just gonna do a year in review of my new favorite woke prince, Ben Shapiro's year in review.
The people who started watching him the earliest that I spoke to were watching him during this Young Turks era.
I first came across Hasan on Facebook, of all places. I just remember his videos popping up on my feed where he was doing the breakdown on TYT. And so he was touching on a lot of issues, obviously the police brutality. There was a lot of stuff around Israel-Palestine that at that point in time, no one was really talking about.
So the views just start pouring in. But on Facebook, you kind of hit a wall pretty easily because the audience is just boomers and my wife for some reason.
The only person I know outside Hasan's community that watches Hasan is my mom. But my mom, because she follows him on Facebook. So she thinks that Hasan is a Facebook influencer, and she only watches Hasan clips on Facebook.
So in 2018, he decides to make the move over from Facebook to Twitch to find a younger audience, according to an interview he did with Kotaku.
But I was working at Twitch on the partnerships team. Hasan had joined the platform pretty sort of like, you know, recently after his departure from TYT or however that had happened, that I remember talking to somebody who was managing that like relationship between the creator and our partner manager and being like, yeah, you should really like help them figure this out, help this Hasan person figure this out, because I think this could be really big. Like clearly there's like a path forward for somebody not just doing games coverage.
Before Hasan
Wow, a shocker. A social media company that's just like, how about we just don't pigeonhole ourselves into this one thing? And yet, so many people get mad about it. Of being like, why is he... Like, there are legitimately people who are mad about Hasan, like, doing political coverage on Twitch. I believe back then it was a lot bigger, because now it's just become normalized to not even do streams that are just purely gaming related. Like, we have IRL streams now or whatever. But I do remember that being a bit of a criticism, at least when I like heard about him becoming more and more prominent on Twitch. Like people were just literally getting mad that he was like bringing politics into it.
Showed up, Twitch was an entirely different platform. IRL had just been introduced a couple years earlier, but it was still mainly about the gaming. Viewers claimed that they bled purple. They would talk in Twitch emotes like Kappa and Poggers, and they would one day dream of reaching partner and getting that exclusive Twitch purple hoodie that I'm not sure they even make anymore.
He really like pioneered this idea of covering the news. He started with like trying to cover politics through gaming, Fortnite, and all of those things.
What the fuck is this camera? It's just a square box that only has half of his face.
And it was like trying to make, that's what everyone was doing at the time, which was like, how do we get to Twitch and how do we activate gamers and do this? Obviously, I don't believe it was that cynical from his perspective.
And his content is pretty much what he does now, except he used to play video games. He talks about politics, culture, internet
Don't
gossip.
even get me started. Don't even get me started on the fake gamer. We're not even gonna get into that.
Whatever he can kind of do to fill the 8-hour gap he needs to speak during the day.
He's done a lot of things that I think are challenging the assumptions of like what a Twitch archetype is, pushing those boundaries, and this is more recently, but like bringing in other lines of culture, other spaces. Obviously, in the beginning, it was just like, you can talk to the Twitch audience as if though they aren't just a bunch of gamers. It is very productive to be of the culture, to be a gamer, to be somebody who, you know, is these things, rather than just what I would say, like, you know, your Hillary Clinton Pokemon go to the polls. It's like, you're not just pandering.
In 2020, Hasan broke the internet when he streamed Among Us with AOC and Ilhan Omar. I was working at Newsweek at the time, and everyone around me in the newsroom saw this as truly groundbreaking political content, when all I saw
Okay.
was a group of strangers trying to kill each other in a virtual spaceship. But that moment cemented the future of political discourse that we're currently dealing with today. Before 2020, a politician appearing on a live stream or a podcast was rare. Mark Maron would get Obama, and that was pretty much it. But after that live stream, politicians realized that they had an entirely untapped audience that they could reach, and they could go on their podcasts and go on their live
Oh god, I remember this shit show.
Go on their podcasts and go on their live streams and start talking with whoever the hell we want. There's no way Stephen Miller's wife would have a podcast if it wasn't for that Among Us live stream.
So what happened to the Holocaust and all the pogroms,
You know what? Should we take the good with the bad? I don't know.
were disgusting. That doesn't mean that Israel...
From there, Hasan's popularity exploded, and he was no longer just a Twitch streamer. He was a voice for a generation.
We do need someone who has motion, a loud voice, who doesn't give a fuck, you know, to continue pushing like the message that, you know, shit is fucked up, and like we need to be more aware of what is going on and who to be mad at.
Yeah, what I said earlier, this kind of fits into it in terms of like Hasan choosing his words more carefully. I do think him being more brazen, being more openly, like, I wouldn't say careless, but more maybe spontaneous, authentic, like, I don't know what the right word is, but like, I think by doing that, it does help drive him into being his own thing away from mainstream media, where he doesn't feel like your typical pundit or your talking head. He does feel like a guy who actually has true conviction in what he believes in. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes he might go a little too far, but at the end of the day, it's still what he believes. It's still what he holds to be true, instead of it just being something that he's reading off of a teleprompter and getting paid to say.
Outwardly denies being a terrorist, and quite frankly, it bothers him when people call him that word.
I wish they stopped calling me a terrorist.
It's really just people's go-to word. Funny enough, when I was going to cover the Slop Tubers and more Pegaslop, like his coverage of Hasan is literally just calling him a terrorist. Like that's it. Like Hasan could say like, I prefer my eggs scrambled over like sunny side up or something, and he would be like, well, I don't think we should be taking this guy seriously because he's a terrorist supporter. Again, we'll probably do another video on like the Slop Tubers and more Megaslop. That's really just what his coverage is. It's just like, you're a terrorist supporter, terrorist. And like, on one hand, I think it's just because they're lazy and they think that if they just keep on saying it, more people will believe it. And also, it's definitely racially motivated.
That's what I wish. I wish they stopped calling me a radical. None of these people are radical. They just want healthcare. They want to end American militarism.
And he's being targeted by traditional media and those opposite to him on the political spectrum.
The attacks like a couple years ago, like starting 2020, right? They were mostly from like YouTubers and like drama slop tubers who were just like looking for drama. He was an easy target and they would just use anything to attack him. And now,
and man, have the times changed, right?
it's evolved into literally Fox News, you know, congressional members attacking him, Richie Torres. It was one of the first ones, and then I forget who the other two are that did the bill saying, we need to condemn Hassan and Candace Owens. It's actually wild because, he's a Twitch streamer, right?
You know what's funny about that too is I feel like the only reason it didn't get any serious motion is because it had Candace Owens in it, and Republicans did not want to sign on to that because they were afraid of the backlash they would get from her fan base, probably from conservatives who like her.
Why are we putting so much attention on a Twitch streamer?
But unfortunately, it's not just those on the other aisle that are disagreeing with him. It's also Democrats who are labeling him as...
That is the weird thing about Hasan when it comes to like this mainstream coverage, these mainstream attacks. It really only is there to serve as a distraction. Like, don't actually pay attention to these issues that the candidates that he is propping up are speaking about. Don't focus on that. Just focus on all this radical, scary, extremist stuff that he's talking about. Like, focus on that. Don't focus on your issues. Focus on these issues that don't... focus on these clips that don't impact you at all.
The extremists.
Democrats are panicking. Liberals are panicking. And even some conservatives are panicking. And the reason why is that, he doesn't follow the filter of the Democratic Party.
And that's the weird thing about this too. It's not just fucking, the usual suspect, the Republicans or the people on the right. It's people, it's liberals, it's establishment Democrats too. Like, these people, they just want to lick the boot so much while also criticizing the boot. But you can't have it both ways. But they just rather do that than actually go for anything meaningful. They rather be controlled opposition than actually push back up against these people that they supposedly hate with a burning passion. Like, you're just pro-fascist as long as instead of the flag being red, it's blue. Like, it's just so fucking stupid.
He's not paid via chorus or via the Israeli Ministry of Affairs or Foreign Affairs to do propaganda. He is also very attractive.
People started to really care about the things he did and hyper-focused on all the little clips that started to go. Clips of him that look like he's shocking his dog.
Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
And saying that America deserved 9/11.
America deserved 9/11.
Get captured out of context and spread across social media through clippers. I don't know if I want to rant about America deserved 9/11 right now.
I remember when the whole America deserved 9/11 thing, a lot of people were like, whoa. I'm like, the way he rationalized it, it's like decades upon decades of the US government interfering in the Middle East. You think we were not going to get attacked? People did not deserve to die, obviously, but it's like America almost getting a taste of its own medicine and purposely even ignoring the warning signs that an attack by plane was going to happen.
Because clipping is big business. If you can get a viral clip to go viral on different platforms, you can make real money off of it. And Hasan is a really easy way to do that.
There is a clipping industrial complex when it comes to people like Hasan. Because it gets so tiring seeing no, there's context to this. Stop. A 5-second clip is not the whole story.
But there are viewers of Hasan's who are actually trying to fight back against the clipping.
It is crazy. There are so many clipping accounts. It is crazy. My thing is I clip in real time. That's kind of my thing. I just post things in real time before people can get to it and make it into something really bad.
Yeah, I believe the clips that she puts out on Twitter, some of them are pretty long. Because when you're just clipping 5 or 10 seconds of a multi-hour stream, you're not going to get the full thing. Sometimes if you're going to take what someone said, you should make sure you capture the full thing of it. And I think that's what she does very well.
When he went to China and became super excited over their little red book, and he went to Cuba to deliver aid, these all became massive internet viral moments that had hundreds of thousands of clips being pushed online.
I want to say how I feel when I see those things. I'm like, that's what you were thinking about? It flies right through my head. It's like, okay, he could have a 50,000 Rolex. I mean, it'd be like, damn, 50,000 for a Rolex, that's kind of crazy. But okay, what about going to Cuba in a 50,000 Rolex, which that didn't happen. I'm just giving an example. The point is Cuba. The subject matter is there.
Yeah.
Hasan is not.
Is it kind of a hypocritical at face value thing to be a rich socialist? Yeah. But again, you're stripping a lot of the context there. He lives in America, a capitalist country. He can't just not operate within that capitalist system regardless of what he does. Like, you still have to engage with it. It's everywhere. As long as the messaging is going towards a solution where everyone can buy a fucking Rolex, where you don't have to like go into debt to get these luxuries, where you can easily like, that's good, and that's what he champions. So I don't necessarily care about like what car he drives or what clothes he wears. I think that's all stupid distractions when his messaging contradicts a lot of like what these luxury purchases might entail.
The subject matter when he goes to Cuba, I feel like I've garnered some sort of like conviction for the things that actually matter and the things that Hasan is highlighting.
It would be like saying you're not a real socialist because you work for a company in America. Like, you're working in a company that operates under the capitalist system. Like, you can bring that sort of critique to almost every facet in life. For like an average leftist, at some point it's just a distraction.
Too, like Cuba. So when he goes to Cuba in, I don't know, combined $5,000 worth of outfit, Cuba's dying.
And the government started to pay attention.
I also like how some people try to spin it as if like Hasan solely could fix all these problems with his wealth, when he's not even that rich compared to a lot of the wealthy billionaires who actually do influence how our country operates, especially one that was literally in charge of an entire government agency.
Currently banned in the UK. He has a bill in Congress calling him an anti-Semite. And his trip to Cuba is currently under investigation.
It is crazy to think that there are actual people out there who think that Hasan is the reason why their life is worse and not Elon Musk.
It is literally the Streisand effect. You guys propped him up. You guys keep talking about him, feeding it. Like, people have been subscribing to him again, because I think his subscriber count really, really went down, I think 2023, 2024 for reasons. But like, mainstream media and all of his haters have been propping him up to be this big thing. And people have been checking him out and then subscribing.
All of that attention just raised his profile. And he started giving his support to progressive candidates like...
Brad Lander, of course, was one of the winners. Daria Liza was one of the winners. Claire Valdez.
As you guys know, I'm trying to get socialists elected.
Was one of the winners. Basically, it was a clean sweep for the Zoran candidates.
Hasan's optimism about the world and the fact that he actually mobilizes his audience to do something about it is incredibly appealing.
I think he deserves some glaze as well, because it feels like everyone's attacking him, and I feel like, nah, he's kind of awesome, and he's really smart, and he says...
You can always judge a man based on who his ops are.
Good things, and I support him. And like, there's points where he will say things that I disagree with, and I'm not sure that we have the same idea of how society should run. But at the same time, I feel like there's this space on the left where we can have a conversation about our opinions about things, and we can say this thing and this, and it all comes from this place of we care about this and we want things to be better. And in that context, if I disagree with someone, we will reach the conclusion that's best for everyone, because we both want the same thing.
There's a lot that I agree with when it comes to Hasan. I'm anti-billionaire. I'm pro-government regulation. I am anti-Zionist. Free Palestine. And I believe that the world should be a better place.
From my perspective, Zionism isn't just bad in the genocidal nature of it. I think it also screws us up. I think it's bad for us. I've seen how it fucks the brains of people. I've seen how the country has gone more and more to the right. I've seen how it deletes cultures, our own Jewish cultures.
Like, Zionism, in the same sense of like fascism, in the same sense of any sort of supremacism, like any sort of supremacist thinking, it doesn't work without some semblance of genocide to it. Zionism, there needs to be a homeland for the Jew. There needs to be a place where Jews feel safe. But in order to keep it a majority Jewish land, if there are people who aren't Jewish in that area, you need to control the population. And that happens with every single supremacist thought too. It's the same with Nazi Germany, Well, we need to make sure that this is mostly Germans and that Jews don't hold the power. It's absolutely crazy that there's still people who don't see those two things as the same, because especially with how much we have seen from this genocide in Gaza, like how is it that you don't see the similarities? It is mind-numbing. The fact that there are even people who are kind of like in the middle who still make these exceptions. Like Hasan had Ro Khanna on recently after he was essentially held hostage by a bunch of settlers in the West Bank, and the IDF barely did anything to help him. He still went on the stream and was just like, yeah, I believe we should cut aid, but, maybe we can still send them, defensive weapons like for the Iron Dome, and maybe we can give an Iron Dome to the Palestinians. It's like, how about we just don't do either? How about we just don't do either and just work towards finding a diplomatic solution that give Palestinians freedom to self-determination? How about that? How about we just don't do war? War no more. How about that? How about that? Mind-numbing.
Of different, like I've only when I was like in my 20s, I learned like songs of different type of groups. So Zionism kind of flattens everything. When they ask you what's the most Jewish thing to you, they're not actually asking about Jewish culture, they're erasing it. And so I see that for me.
I had no idea that it was going to be Charlie. I was like, why the fuck are they just sticking on this? Why the fuck are they just sticking on it for this video? And I heard the music in the background, but I honestly thought that it was like coming from my neighbor or something.
Toxic ideas that like, it's in the way people talk, and this is something that like it's so pervasive.
I'm gonna go back a little bit because I
actually asked
because I was I was a little distracted to actually hear what he was saying.
Country has gone more and more to the right. I've seen how it deletes cultures, our own Jewish cultures of different, like I've only when I was like in my 20s, I learned like songs of different type of groups. So Zionism kind of flattens everything. When they ask you what's the most Jewish thing to you, they're not actually asking about Jewish culture, they're erasing it. And so I see that for me, that like, I feel like Israel is under, I like to call it a miasma. I like that word because it's like this cloud of toxic ideas that like, it's in the way people talk, and this is something that like it's so pervasive, and he sees that and talks to that nature. And so to me, Zionism is anti-Semitic in its core.
Okay, but I'm not spending my time looking through those either.
Personally, I don't really want to watch Hasan. He's not really my vibe. I don't really love political punditry, except when I used to watch The Daily Show back when I was in middle school. And I want to make it clear that it's not just Hasan's haters that have disagreements with Hasan. Even his own viewers have things that they don't like about him. Some of the people I spoke with really dislike the new suits that he keeps wearing.
I feel like Hasan has grown in style, really takes himself seriously. He's starting to wear the suits now, and I'm like, okay, you can stop that now.
Like, I know he's been wearing suits a lot lately to, like, I guess, woo the Fox News people or whatever.
That he is incredibly broke.
I'm gonna be honest. One of my non-political criticisms of him is that I just feel like he just doesn't really have a great style. So I don't mind this. This one I might be in the minority with, but I don't mind the suits because I like it a bit more than the usual fits.
There's a bunch of different things that people can misunderstand with him. So people who are too serious will see him as like a dumb jock or whatever. Like even sometimes I'll show, because my family is socialist, so they're the same. They're the same.
Okay, this one's not bad for two reasons. I mean, first of all, it is a good fit, but also free Palestine. But like, look at any of those other pictures and tell me that was hidden.
This is me, but they don't really like watching him because they find him a little bit too abrasive sometimes, which he is. Like
that he keeps fighting with chat no matter what.
He does get angry.
Why is every baboon in my chat so quick to try to overcorrect, thinking that you're gonna come across as smart? Like, most people understand exactly what I'm saying. Why are people so stupid? Like, fuck?
Which, I mean, I think it just comes with the territory. Like, if you're just talking to a crowd of people at all times that are talking back to you, I think it can cause some sort of negativity to come out every now and then.
Since the community is very white, I think that sometimes Black and brown voices are not taken as seriously. I know, like, this year, I think he's really tried to have a diverse group of politicians, but he can't help that the community itself is sometimes very aggressive. And sometimes I have felt that, like, my opinion is being ostracized because, you know, it's not the majority opinion in that chat.
He does handle the topic of Black issues, I guess, better than other people or his counterparts would, who aren't Black, kind of thing. He handles them in the way that he knows how to handle them as a white guy. I do think because he's afraid of being clipped out of context, because of what he's been accused of before, that he just lets the community like do whatever, because he's trying to rattle off like a bunch of like talking points that like we've all heard before. And then because he's trying to get through it, people are in the chat are just saying a bunch of crazy shit.
Your statement itself is not incorrect. Okay? The deployment in this situation against me, as though I am at odds with what you're saying, is incorrect. Chat is doing the thing where they agree with my overall analysis, but come at it as though they're in disagreement. There is no disagreement. And I can't tell if people just have some kind of I mean, tensions are high. So I guess that's probably part of the reason.
But most of all, he's too hyperbolic with his statements.
Oh, well, you know, I said America deserved 9/11 and it was misconstrued. You know, I do have sometimes, I use hyperbolic language and it gets taken out of context or whatever.
I have friends who are same political spectrum as I am, and they see him as an extreme, like too extreme for their taste. And it's mainly just because of the clips and the hyperbolic statements. I think it's misunderstood. That doesn't make him look good. He's very provocative in what he says.
But the ultra-Orthodox Jews leaving Israel, fucking hilarious. Okay? If they serve in the military and then they get their fucking untrained, inbred asses shipped into southern Lebanon.
That was a bad phrasing, yeah. Like, does he think that Hasidic Jews are inbred because he's an anti-Semitic? No, because anti-Semitic people, they don't just say one thing. If he was a Nazi, he would say other stuff.
Also, he has used that in a way to like describe, you know, like racist, you know, people in the KKK, stuff like that. Like he's using it as like an insult to Nazis.
It will reflect in other ways.
He makes a grand, over-the-top joke or statement that in context seems okay, but when you look at it in a 30-second clip, it's absolutely awful.
Kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
It allows those clippers to kind of run free and go wild. And his viewers are like, why are you saying these things? You're just encouraging this behavior to grow.
I don't know the context of these particular statements, but here's a quote from you about landlords who don't want to rent out their properties. You said, kill them, murder them, let the streets soak in their red capitalist blood. Doesn't that make you part of the problem with violent discourse?
This was in a conversation that I was having with a landlord friend of mine, and it's of course hyperbolic, and it's not meant to be sincere. This is not sincere advocacy. It's not a real policy that I would ever advocate for, and that's precisely the reason why when Republicans were desperately looking for any sort of incisive language that they could present, they went back to a very obvious instance of LARPing.
But again, Hasan is a streamer. His job is to go live for 8 hours a day. He has to keep talking. He just has to keep saying things because he has to keep his viewers entertained. He has to keep the algorithms entertained.
His language is hyperbolic, but I for one has never, you know, heard a call of actually, you know, causing harm or violence or anything like that to get there. He's never done that.
I'm sick and tired of it. Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man?
You know, so at least not to how I've interpreted it.
But even with all their criticisms,
well, the thing about that clip is that he was, again, yeah, as he brought up during the clip, it was hyperbolic language. He was talking about like on the debate stage of being like, you should verbally do this to them. Like you should be making good, convincing arguments that makes your opponents just look completely defeated.
overall, they still prefer it to mainstream media, which has sort of gone on a long death march over the past decades. Political punditry started when Rush Limbaugh crawled out of the primordial ooze of AM radio and evolved with Rachel Maddow with the millennials, reaching its final form with Hasan Piker. People love to get their information from somewhere else and have it filtered through someone else's ideology. I used to love watching Jon Stewart on The Daily Show shit on Bush and all the horrible stuff of that era.
I don't believe in wearing a helmet unless I have crashed and am flying towards the curb noggin first.
I find too much political content brain rotting. Look what happened to Asmongold.
It's not commentary, it's the truth.
This, I would say, definitely rings true with me too. Usually, I will always take like a day out of the week where I'm just like, I'm not going to really watch Hasan or Majority Report or like any political content creator that I follow. If I'm going to watch a video, it's going to be, probably like just something I could throw into the background, maybe, just a random video or just like a show, comedies, but like I do try to take some time off of like, in taking all this stuff because it can be a lot and it can be harmful in a way, in the same way that like taking in a large amount of a certain type of content can be, and the fact that, you do run the risk of it all consuming everything that you do, distracting you from other things in your life. Like, I do think it is healthy to every now and again just kind of step back and go do stuff that, helps you relax, helps you just feel better in a way, like activities and stuff like that. For me, usually I just either focus on my art or I read, play video games, or just like sit down and watch a movie that I've been meaning to watch for a while. Like stuff like that, just a way to distract myself from everything else. Not in a sense of like, oh, I don't think the stuff matters, just in a sense of kind of grounding me in a sense. And I feel like that is something that a lot of leftists that I have seen online really should be doing. I feel like, this is stuff that obviously matters. But if you truly want to ground yourself and be able to reach out to like the average person, you do kind of need to behave like a normal person yourself, and a normal person does have hobbies and does have interests. And I feel like there are a lot of leftists who are focused so much on the politics that they kind of forgot how to be a normal person. I'm not saying that none of this stuff is important, it is, but I think like grounding yourself is a key part on how to have a healthy relationship with this stuff.
That's why you support organizations that want to genocide Jews and that are literally designated terrorist organizations. I mean, this isn't commentary. People can find this on your Wikipedia, probably.
And you know what's kind of funny about that? Is that from the recent text leaks that we got during the whole Emaru Asmongold thing, which I'm not even going to touch with a 10-foot pole, but from the leaks that we got from that, we know that Asmongold stopped playing video games or stopped like really doing gaming content for the most part, purely because he was getting brain broken by politics, in a sense that it was just creating more views for him. It was getting him more attention. That truly is the danger of this. Like, because Asmongold, due to him just sucking at gaming in general, and realizing that it just wasn't getting him the same amount of views, and that he could just get more views, get more money just by solely doing this, he has become this like insane online personality that, to normal people, the average conservative, like the one that's not online all that much, maybe outside of like Facebook and stuff like that, even that, I feel like if you show them a clip of Asmongold, they would just take one look at him and it's just like, I'm not gonna listen to this guy. This guy doesn't even look like he knows how to shower. Why would I ever take his opinion seriously? Like, he might agree on what Asmongold was saying, but I feel like they would just want to stay away from him because they would feel embarrassed of being like, oh yeah, I take this guy seriously.
Hasan isn't for me, but it's clear he's important to a lot of people. His political actions, bro-y attitude, and overall optimistic view on the world has given people hope And I can't knock that. It's clear his viewers are looking for something to help them change, and Hasan is giving them that opportunity.
I think like having disagreements with him is fine. Like it's healthy. It's healthy to have disagreements with people in general. But like saying that he's like this dangerous figurehead as compared to not even other content creators, but literally in comparison to people who are currently running our government, to say that he is one of the most dangerous figures out there is absolutely insane.
I've improved myself in my looks, my physicality. I've tried to take care of myself and my hair and going to the gym when I can, or try to work on those muscles, not physical muscles, but like those habits. I think that's an important part of it, because if we take care of ourselves, we can take care of the people around us.
And in this depressive era, and there's nothing else that gives you hope, if you have to get it from a 6'2" himbo, so be it. And now I'm gonna go do something that I think a lot of Hasan fans would appreciate, and I'm gonna go work out.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was a great video. Overall, I think like, again, I feel like if you were to watch this one back to back with the Asmongold one, you would get a very different experience. Like, yeah, people who just want everyone to have healthcare, want to make sure that workers aren't being exploited, they turn out to be pretty normal people, some pretty fine people. They're not like complete weirdos, at least at face value. And maybe we'll do the SlopTuber video unless something major comes up or something else comes up that I just want to talk about. But yeah, that's all I had to say, and I will see you all next time.